Okay, so let's look at number 1 and let's state the domain and the range. So what is the domain of number 1? Okay, and remember, anytime you state the domain and you state the range, it should always be in order from smallest to largest. What is your range?
21.
Okay. Is it a function?
No.
Kat?
Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
If like during the test or something, if we don't put it in like smallest to largest, will we get points off?
Yes, you will. Now, if it's a multiple choice, no. But if it is a free response, yes. Yes.
If there are multiple, if we repeat numbers in the domain on the test, would that go?
You will lose points, yes. Because once it repeats, you don't have to write it again. Because that 2 is already there. Okay, you guys, so this is not a function. And then it means it's none of those. So you don't have to write neither. But it's not because it's not a function, it means it's not one-to-one and it's not onto and it's not both. So you can write neither, but you don't have to. Now, why is this not a function? Because the domain repeats. The domain element, the element 2 goes to 2 elements in the range, and that cannot happen. Okay? Since I have 3 showing, we're going to do number 3. Okay, so for number 3, what is the domain? Okay. The domain tells me right away that it's a function. I don't even have to, I'm going to put the range because the range is going to help me determine if it's one-to-one or onto. But the domain tells me right away that it's a function. Okay, so who can tell me the range? And we want to put it in order from smallest to largest. Okay, so it is a function. Okay. So I know all the domains are different, so that made it a function, but all are the ranges different? No. So that means it is an onto. It's not a one-to-one. One-to-one means there's exactly one element for each domain. Yes?
I just don't understand the maximum one. How can one be both?
Because when you usually write one-to-one, one-to-one is always going to be onto. Onto just means that it is a function, it's just your range repeats. And it's not necessarily, onto means that the range has an element in the domain. So every element in the range has an element in the domain. It just happens to be that 0 and 0 repeat each other. So that just, because every range element has a domain, it's onto. But it just happens to be that 0 repeats. So usually that's what it means if your range repeats.
Will I get points off in the test if I don't write both, or if I write one-to-one instead?
Yes, because I'm going to ask you if one is one-to-one or onto. So if you wrote both for this one, that would be incorrect because it's only onto.
No, I understand that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, like, if you're saying the one that's called qualifies for one-to-one is also both. It can also be both.
Yes, so I'll show you one that's a one-to-one that's not both.
Okay.
Okay, I can show you one of those. Okay. Okay, let's look at number 2. What is the domain?
5, 10, 15.
What is the range?
105, 110.
Is it a function?
Yes, onto.
Okay, so you guys, the reason it's going to be onto, the reason it's not one-to-one is because the range even though the range has an element in the domain, that's why it's onto. But the reason it's not 1-to-1 is because this element of 105 goes to the domain twice. It has to only go to the domain once to be a 1-to-1. Okay, number 4. What is the what is the domain?
-2, -1, 1, and 2.
What did the domain just tell me?
That's not a
There's two.
function.
It's not a function because the domain repeats. What is the range?
-1, 0, and 1.
And then that's it. You can, but you don't have to. Once you write it's not a function, then you don't have to write neither. We did it yesterday, but that's not something that you're gonna lose points on. You lose points on it if you wrote it's a function and didn't write that.